You got to figure out why you're doing stuff and then enjoy the process it takes to get there. So I speak to groups on living with purpose. It's one of the niche things I found as a speaker. And when I started doing that talk, it was really interesting because I was very judgmental about it. It's like, all right,
Mm.
Thomas, listen, for you to live with purpose, you have to do A, B, and C. And you've got to do it like this and like this and like this. And I was like booed off the stage, man. It was like,
Oh
get the
wow.
hook, because nobody wanted to hear what they should do.
Yeah.
So I've developed that talk now over the years to a point where when I'm invited to a group to talk about living with purpose, I only talk about me, right? I
Yeah.
talk about what I do on the bike, what I do in my business, what I do with my family. And a lot of it is about, stopping the multitasking thing that I did for me. And it's the talk stopped being judgmental. I stopped telling people what to do, and I started saying to people, I do this and it works really well for me. Here's how
Mm.
you could emulate this if you want to test it for an hour, right? And
Mm.
see if you like this idea for an hour, right? So for an hour, out of the million hours you're going to live on the planet, for an hour you commit to just this, and you don't look at any other responsibility. We teach meditation like this too. For 5 minutes, there's nothing else you have to do. Just do
Mm.
this. Just live in the moment. Just do this. Everything else will still be there when you get back. And
Yeah.
so I think that's what I've learned by doing these talks on living with purpose, is that talking about me is not ego, right? I'm not doing these
Mm.
talks for ego. I'm still doing them because I think it will help others. But at the same time, it helps others by saying, well, I did this, so it's not impossible, right? I'm
Yeah.
chasing an hour record on the bike, but I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not elite. I'm just a normal mortal human with a normal mortal physiology.
Yeah.
And I've decided that I can train harder than everybody else, or more consistently. That's actually more important. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
you
and
can't train for 24 hours straight. It's better
no,
to
no,
train 1 hour a day for 24 days.
exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think that consistency that I've really learned on the bike.
Mm.
I don't miss workouts. I have a coach who puts a calendar together. Me, I very rarely miss a workout. It's the consistency that's making me better, and the structure that's making me better. And you're right. You train 24 hours a day, you fall apart in 4 days. So I think that you know one of the things I've learned on the bike is how to apply the bike to everything else.
Mm.
So I think if you want to live in the moment consistently. Don't make it this celebratory hour once a month that, at 2 o'clock on the third Tuesday, I'm going to live in the present for an hour. It has to be
Mm.
consistent. And
Yeah.
it's very difficult for people to change on a dime, right?
Mm.
People have to change slowly. So I think, what I've learned in these talks on purpose is that, you know, I can show people how I changed slowly, and I can condone changing slowly, because the effectiveness of it is so much better than trying to change quickly, which doesn't stick.
Yeah, it's like setting up, like when you change slowly, you're building a foundation. When you change too fast, you have a tendency to fall back on a default foundation that isn't as stable.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So it's retraining, right? This is what
Mm.
we tell people. If you want to try something different, try it slowly and retrain your habits, retrain yourself, and let go of the stuff that's not serving you. And it doesn't mean let go of the bad stuff, because what got you to
Mm.
this point is not necessarily bad. What it does mean is let go of the stuff that doesn't serve you well, which is hard because some of that's fun, right? Pizza and ice cream is fun,
Beer.
but does it serve you well?
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to my grandson again, right? Fast food is fun for him, but is he getting any nutrition in his diet? Not much. So it's hard to leave fast food because it tastes good. right? It's hard to leave the delicious things and eat salad, you know? But again, I think we train people to do things slowly. So it's like, eat fast food 4 days a week and then try 3 days a week to integrate it with something healthy, get some nutrients. So,
Mm,
it's all of that whole idea of how do you retrain and how do you, allow your psyche to learn something new without forgetting everything that's fun, right? Like good stuff
yeah.
doesn't have to be not fun. Salad
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
have to be
like,
not fun.
yeah, it's retraining your brain to think the hard things are actually fun. That I
Yeah.
do that all the
Yeah.
time with food. I Because I work out like 5 days a week, bodybuilding. I started getting into CrossFit and running, and yeah, I look forward to the meal afterwards. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make me some good grilled chicken with a little bit of teriyaki sauce and some good steamed veggies that are seasoned well. They're not bland, they're seasoned well, and that stuff is good for you. You really do have to reprogram that part of your mind to not like dread it. Like, oh, I gotta eat my veggies.
But that's the workout thing too, right? I mean,
Mm,
you know, there's a whole thing about process and outcome, right? That, you know, we train for an outcome, right? I'm training for an hour
mm,
record on the bike. I'm training 5 years now. I'm in the middle of a 5 year program to ride my bike successfully for 1 hour. If I hate the process, that means I'm going to hate 5 years of bicycle training for the potential to be successful for 1 hour. Well, that
mm,
doesn't work, right? Like writers say this too. Writers, you'll hear them say the best part of writing is having written. Well, those are people who hate the process, right? And it first
mm,
of all, I think it shows in the work, right? If I hated the training and I only wanted to go kill this 1 hour record, the training would suffer because I
mm,
wouldn't be interested in it. I'd be phoning it in. I'd be just hitting power numbers and then going home and doing something else. But I do like the training. I do like the adaptation. I do like the feeling it gives me for the rest of the day. I do like, crushing my rides and crushing my workouts. And I'm able to do that for 5 years to try to hit a 1 hour goal. But it's because I don't dislike the process. It's quite sort of the opposite. I actually like the process. I'm getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm learning how to manage this, this very difficult training regime. And, I think that our international hour record for me is like 50% believable still. Maybe I'll hit it, maybe I won't, but it doesn't change the training, right? Um, this whole thing about goals being 50% believable, someone once described it. If your goal is more than 50% believable, if it's a sure thing, it's not really a goal, it's a to-do list. I thought that was a
uh,
great way to
I
describe it,
love
right?
that.
Yeah. Your goal becomes a to-do list if
I'm
it's a
just gonna do
guarantee.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to knock it out. And, if it's 10% believable, well, then it's a pipe dream.
Mm.
But, so, yeah, you got to figure out why you're doing stuff and then enjoy the process it takes to get there.